Hey, you crazy cats! 42's live streams and videos are simply not available on vinyl. You will have to go to the YouTubes for that. So if you want content about British traditions and culture, cutting edge social commentary from an unapologetically patriotic perspective, along with a side order of madness you simply will not find anywhere else, then this is the place for you. And to all those early adapters in the chat, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That's how you get the good stuff, and make sure you never miss a tasty treat. So with that being said and done, squeeze yourself in. Let's get into it. You know you want to. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please delete as applicable because the internet is worldwide and time zones are indeed still a thing. As are technical issues, of which we are having lots today. My guest, Al, is currently wrestling with StreamYard trying to get on. Hopefully that's going to happen in the next minute or so. But in the meantime, in time-honored tradition, I will say hello to the lovely people that have arrived. And here is Al now. Al Mac, what about you, chum? You're muted.
Bloody hell. There you go. It's a good job I'm not in charge of any technical stuff, isn't it, man?
No, actually, you are in charge of some of the very technical stuff. Yeah. Oh, it's just been that sort of a day with StreamYard.
Yeah, I understand you had a few issues with Mr. Justice Kane there.
Yes, we did. We had quite a few technical issues. It took us a wee while. We got it sorted. We've got the interview in the can. One of the issues, actually, before this, I'm going to say hello to everybody. I normally don't go through everybody whenever there's a guest on, but however, mostly people all know you. So I'm going to.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to say everybody. You're part of furniture around here. It's all good.
That's it.
Also, I've got to give this a go. Sandra's spicy Spanish salami sandwich. Excellent name. I love getting tied up with that. Budgie Burger's in. What about you, chum? Bobby Crush is in. Welcome aboard. The wonderful Emma G's here. Evening Sexy. Pat is in. Neil Benjamin Skies. Rory Herbert. Scott. Oh, I'm having a very good weekend, Scott. I hope you are too. I'm saying hello to Paca. Bass is in. Anglo-Saxon. Evening, brother. 77 Brigade's in. They'll be very interested in the content of this music, I would say. Dawn's in from Down Under. Courage and the Cure also in from Down Under. Robin from Courage and the Cure is going to be coming on at some stage. Actually, I think it's the first Saturday of next month. We're going to have another chat. Packet, Dawn, Scott, and Master Ben's in. Excellent. Right. That being said, yes, one of the technical issues I had today was I downloaded the songs and tried to play them so you get the proper sound, and StreamYard allows you to attach video files, not audio files, so that didn't work. But I have done I've turned two of the songs into a very basic video. It's just the logo, but I'll be able to put them on. You'll get the full sound. So there's that. And other than that, yeah, it's all good. How's yourself, brother?
Yeah, not too bad. A little bit. We had a bit of a late Friday night, so Ali C probably won't be up too long. She'll be going to the go back to bed stream. But hi to everyone in the chat. Emma G, lovely to see you, and Robin, of course. You were streaming with last Saturday, wasn't it? That was an excellent stream, by the way. So hi, Robin. Really cool stuff. subbed your channel. It's nice to see many people in as well, or a lot of regular names, a few new people. Yeah, it's all good, mate. All good. What was but you managed to get a little bit of a pre-record out of Justice Kane, did you?
Yes, there is. There's about an hour of that in the can. I think how we go about this is we'll talk a little bit about the album. We'll play one of the songs that doesn't have me in it, and then we'll go on to the Justice thing. And you can let me know whenever you want to stop it to add something to it. Okay, right?
Yeah.
How's that sound?
Yeah, perfect. Because I obviously don't want to double up too much and what he has to say about it. Although he, you know, like yourself, you wrote the content of your stuff, lyric wise. He's done the same. Most of the melodies and all the lyrics are all his. You know, whatever I do to create the music is that's a different thing. So when we're talking about the content, and we talk about, we'll be on the phone, you know, a couple of times a week, and we'll chat about a song idea that he's got. Then we'll just start getting into. It'd be like one of these streams. We'll be talking about everything that's going on, and we'll be about an hour of doom, you know.
So,
but a song will come out of it. You know, a song will come out of it. So it's all good. And I think the difference with this album is you'll see. We'll talk about it later on. But I think anybody who listens to the album, and I really hope that some people, you can stream it on Spotify or download it or whatever. I hope some people do. But you should be able to tell some of the earlier songs, things like Herald of the Dawning, Mercury is Rising, and COVID Kids obviously was right in that period. Boris Johnson was still Prime Minister when he wrote COVID Kids. And it was very much of that time when you know you could have a house full of 6 people, and it was right at that time. So there was a little bit of gap between writing the first half of the album and the second half of the album, which you really sort of spawned it to really get going. So it was just going to be a 5-track EP. Then we got involved with you know, and we had to, and that changed everything. So, you know, thanks for that.
Well, I hope I changed it for the better.
Only joking.
Right.
Only joking, mate. It took it down the road, you know, a brilliant new road. And what I was really trying to get to was that with the later songs, especially like Eat the Bugs, I know that Ballad was quite a serious tune. That is, you know, that needs to be done that way, quite dark. But it's more of a piss take on it now. It's you know, the sort of attitude has changed around that we're just laughing at some of this stuff now. Not because it's funny, but because I think that we're starting to see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel on a lot of it. And you know,
talking about how people can consume this, I went on last night because last night was the first night I've had that I've got Red Okay. I've got an hour I can sit and listen to an album, and I wanted to do that, get myself nice and chilled out and listen to it. And I went on to iTunes because that's where I would have purchased my music in the past, which might give you an idea how long it is since I've actually bought any music. So last time I wanted some music, went on the iTunes, and there it was. You could download the song, or you could download the album. There was a price per song, a price per album, everything, and that's how you went. And whenever I went to iTunes and searched for it, it gave me this thing talking about Apple Music and a subscription of, I think it was £10 a month, something like that, 10 something a month. And it seems to me that the ability to actually buy, download, and own the songs has gone, because I then went to Spotify. Didn't know what Spotify really was. Set up a Spotify account, and I was able to stream and listen to it. But as yet, didn't pay anything for that because it's on the free one. But again, not an option to download and buy it. And part of what has me thinking about that is in the Eat the Bugs you will own nothing. Well, it seems if music continues the way it is, you will not own music. You will be consuming it on a subscription list. And if the powers that be want to yank stuff from the subscription platform, they'll do that.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happened. And what a good analogy. I mean, music's been going that way for some time since it become digitalized. Um, and it went back to, what were the forums that we used to name them now, where we used to stream them off of people? What were they called?
LimeWire?
LimeWire, Napster, stuff like that. I remember
Yep.
starting using that right in the noughties, and it did change everything. And obviously, that was people were getting it stuff for free, which wasn't on. But the record labels and big record companies, they don't care about the artist, but what they were losing the revenue from it as well. So that's why you got things like Spotify coming on. Now,
Yeah.
I do have premium. Oh, sorry, mate. Go on.
There is a thing. You keep on, people keep on saying there's no crime in pirating music. And look at Michael Jackson, look at Queen, look at Eminem. All these people have made absolutely millions. And, well, how's getting their stuff for free going to harm them? And it's probably not, because most of their revenue probably comes from concerts and merchandise and things out anyway, but it's not them you're going to hurt. It is a small independent person that is putting out music. They've put out time, effort, they've produced it, they've put it out there in the world, and you've whenever you steal that, you are literally stealing their bread, because there's very little income there, and they can't afford to not get paid for what they do.
Yeah, yes, right. I mean, there is very, very little income. So even though you've got the free Spotify version, which I had for a while, I mean, I detested Spotify, but for a long time, because I knew it was going to be the death of the independent artist. In a way, it is. Also, it's a double-edged sword, because it also means that the independent artist, or a guy like me, a small producer who has a small record label, Contagious Records, can release stuff to the world, which you couldn't have done before unless you had a major label backing. But that also means that anyone can do it. Anyone who buys an old Apple laptop from, I don't know, some old cheap thing off of Facebook Marketplace, and it'll have a version of GarageBand on it, which I know was one of the programs that's preloaded onto your laptop.
Yeah.
And anyone can make and upload an album of music of absolute dire shite, and it can still go up there, and it's sort of competing with all the other independent artists. So although you can put your music out there to the world, you still need major label backing. And even without that, the money still isn't there. So you're right when you're talking about the touring, merchandise. When we're doing plan accounts, we did have CDs to sell as merch, T-shirts and stuff like that. And there was far more money from that. When you look, we've got 300,000 views or downloads on one song. You get nothing for that. That you don't. There's no revenue from that really, but it is good exposure. It's not like having your music played on Radio 2 or Radio 1 or Absolute or something. But I mean, it's an old conversation moaning about the music industry. We all know about it. It's changed a long time ago. There's no point in really, going over it again. But it is what it is. And live music is still where it's at, and that's where all your sort of big names from the past are out of retirement and going around doing your butlins and all that, and the 80s weekenders and all that stuff.
Yeah, it is very much so. The other thing I'm going to say is, whenever I was sofa listening to this, it did catch me out a couple of times, because heard my own voice on an album, and that's something I never expected. So I'd like to thank the both of you for allowing me to be a part of that.
Man, oh man, listen, I'm really happy that you got involved with this, and so I know you've when you made videos and you've made the music videos and you watched them back on YouTube, but you used to hearing yourself sort of being on YouTube, or
Yeah.
you're a content creator. But to go on to, and there are many of those platforms. Deezer, it's on about 20 different platforms, and it's not just iTunes and Spotify, although they're still the biggest. But you are there. So, you're out. You're out there now. You're on Contagious Records. So that's brilliant. It's mad, isn't it? It's mad.
It's funny where things end up whenever you just keep taking the next logical step.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to say is the way the album has been put together. The order of the songs, they all gel very well together, and the opening of this album is the most profound opening to any album I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's a wicked tune.
Yeah, and I was thinking I'm going to play that now so that these people hear a bit about what we're talking about.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to say anything about it first. It's quite a long tune, but man, it's got a wicked piano solo in it. It's got yodeling in it. Yodeling, honestly, people, wait for it. It's an odd tune, but it really sets the scene. It's talking about the sort of language of the last decade, and they want us to stop using the terminology, New World Order or whatever, Deep State or whatever. But it's talking about a red pilling of well, I know Gaz from JK is going to talk about that anyway. So yeah, I won't talk too much about the content of the song, but it was an interesting one, and it's a great, powerful tune, I think.
I'm not letting this pass. Every person in my generation recorded the top 20 on a Sunday night. Yes, off Radio 1, and you had your finger on that record button and the play button to go jump as soon as the DJ stopped yakking, because they talked over the start and finish of every bastard song.
Yeah, they did that deliberately, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. That was a plan. That's a bit of nostalgia. I remember doing that. Oh, right, here we go. We're going to put this song on.
This is the calm before the storm in our sea of tranquility. I know you feel all safe and warm, but it's a false sense of security. You see life's thin veneer is worn away, exposing the sinister reality, and all the paper promises are now torn, burning in the fires of depravity. Yeah, they're burning in the fires of depravity. I'm so sorry to have to tell you, your party has come to an end. I'm so sorry to have to tell you, life will never be the same again. I'm so sorry to have to tell you, over and over again. I'm so sorry to have to tell you, nightmares are about to begin. I guess it's the price we have to pay for our fear of mortality. And underneath our very eyes, they dismantle the dawning of the new world order. Heed the warning, herald the dawning of the new world order. Heed the warning, herald the dawning of the new world order. Heed the warning, herald the dawning of the new world order. I'm so sorry to have to tell you, the party has come to an end. I'm so sorry to have to tell you, your worst nightmare is about to begin. Your worst nightmare to tell is about to begin. Heed the warning, herald the dawning of the new world order. Heed the warning, herald the dawning of the new world order. Heed the warning, herald the dawning of the new world order. Heed the warning, herald the dawning of the new world order.
There you go. Roll up, get your dissonant music here.
Oh, look, thanks for all the lovely comments in the chat there. Yeah, someone said about the guitar. The guitar work was done by a guy called Steve, who played most of the guitar parts on the first album as well, and it's just brilliant. And the piano as well, which Tim did. He's done a lot of keyboards on this. On the second half of the album, Steve was sort of having his house refurbished. He had to dismantle his studio. So I was waiting a long time to get anything back from him. So in the end, and I hate playing guitar. I really hate playing guitar. So, but I was having to do a lot of the guitar on the second half of the album myself. But I'm not as good as he is on guitar. To anyone who doesn't know who I am, I'm a bass player, producer, not a guitarist. I hate those skinny little strings under my fingers. It just gets on my nerves. But I've been playing guitar since I was a kid anyway, so I'm okay on it. But it's not something would never, if I go up into the studio, I've got about 4 bass guitars, 2 guitars up there. I've got bass guitars all over the house, but I would never pick up a guitar.
Is there a reason why the lead guitars tend to be of slim build and bass guitars seem to be a bit more
What are you
solid?
saying? Careful now. What are you saying?
I'm just saying a bit more solid.
A bit more well, no, I'm not as solid as I was.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, well, that's it. Guitarists, what can we say about lead guitarists? Naturally born God's gift, types. Steve actually isn't like that at all. He's he was really in his blues and his funky stuff. So he was like a white Nile Rodgers, if you like, but really came up with really melodic parts. And on the first album, I think you might have played this before, but a few months ago.
Great White Triangle.
Well, yeah, he played guitar on that as well, but there was a track called Patsy, and it was all about JFK assassination.
Yes.
And we had the song pretty much finished, and I sent the track over to him and said, look, it's just do whatever you want to do on this. I had no idea, but I just said, bear in mind, it is the events of this happened in the 60s. And he just done some real sort of 60s style guitar parts on it. And it's hard to explain what I mean. It's not really sort of like Hank Marvin, but he just came up with some just the sound and the melodies that it was just perfect. And he's that kind of guy. So he's no Eddie Van Halen. He can rip out a solo, but there are other guys like Solon, harmony, melody, and rhyme. On the album version, there's a blistering guitar solo.
There is.
From a real sort of Eddie Van Halen style guitarist. Unfortunately, it wasn't on the video. It didn't come in time for the video. I seem to spend half my time waiting for guitarists to send me stuff back. But so Steve did a brilliant job, and it's subtle as well. And it's subtle. So the person who really noticed it's like, oh, really sexy guitar. It's subtly in the mix. Well done for spotting it, because I don't, listen, it needs to be. I don't tend to put guitars really high up in the mix. And but yeah, the right line just can set everything off. Just like with the bass, you want a solid foundation, have a sub melody on the bass guitar, but just the right things on a lead guitar. It doesn't have to be a screaming solo, just something that just adds that other little layer, dimension, and other melodic ingredient to it, and it can be magical.
Yeah, there is. It all came together really well. Now, will I now put up the pre-record with Justice?
Yeah, why not? I'll have I'll be listening with my little speaker on. And,
yep, and
if
then
I want to, and I'll stop you like
as we did the last time. There's something comes up, but it gives you a chance to go out and get a. We had such a kerfuffle the last 5 to 10 minutes before this show started. You didn't get your normal prep time. So
I came in about 10 past 10, and I put the link in, and it came in, and then it said this recording has ended. So I kept going back in and out, and so you sent me the same link again, and I put, and then it works. I mean, who knows? It's weird.
But
anyway, doesn't matter.
I think what's happened is it has sent you into the Justice Kane one for the pre-record, because the time for this one hadn't came to or something. It's a StreamYard fucking thing. I think
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's ready now.
I will fire this up now. Pre-record with Justice Kane. Yep, that has come up. Here we go. I'll play this. Hello, everybody. I'm live with Justice Kane. We're doing a pre-record for the show tonight because Justice Kane, being a musician, is gigging, doing his thing. So he can't do it live, but we're doing this now. Justice, what about you, chum?
Nice one, mate. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, always a pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Now we've got over all the technical issues.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. New computers are great until you have to set them up.
Yeah. It took a little time, mate, but thanks for persevering there.
You're very welcome. So this album has now hit live. It's available on iMusic, Spotify. Where else?
I presume DistroKid probably as well.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. Al will tell you more because he's the one who kind of basically uploaded it.
Yeah. Yes, we'll make sure we go through all of that. I've got the Spotify link in the description.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to consume this album, I listened to it start to finish last night. It was the first opportunity I've had to sit down and just listen to music for a while. Really enjoyed it.
Right.
Got a bit surprised at times because I'm listening to this album and all of a sudden my voice is there. Never thought that would ever happen in the world.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you're the featured artist. We've never had a featured artist before, so
yeah, I really enjoyed doing this project with you. Both you and Al, really great guys, very professional, and it's been a pleasure working with you. And I hope to do so in the future.
yeah,
So we'll
definitely.
get that out of the way.
Yeah, we've said that before. Yeah, it was. And for me, I was doing the set listing and where I was going to put everything, and just kind of. And I thought, oh, I got to put you in there, and that was good to break it up, but it all had to follow nicely. And I think it does, because the songs that you brought along, are all part of the same genre.
Yeah,
So it really, works well.
the album itself is pretty much all on a topic. Everything all fits together very nicely. What I will say is, whenever I clicked on to listen to it, the opening of that album with the sea, the sound of the sea coming in,
Yeah.
and the opening line to the whole album, this is the calm before the storm. It's very, very fitting.
Yeah, the Herald the Dawning, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that song, it was written quite a while ago, in a sense, just before the pandemic kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I love, the way it is, the sea, the waves just going along, and it's everybody thinks everything's kind of cool, and they're just carrying on, going along with their little lives, and nobody's worrying about it, you know what I mean? But it was just like, here it comes. And each passing day is more evidence of it for those who can see.
Yeah, if you just look about, if you just look about, you can see where all it, how it all fits together, and it is the dawning of, because what's going to come after this is absolute madness.
Yeah, it's like with the last album we did, Dystopia and Myopia. The song was the same thing. It's just like, it's going to be a dystopian world. It's, people were talking about it 25, 30 years ago. David Icke was, especially, and every day it just gets worse and worse. And then we had that COVID thing, and that was obvious that that's all part of it. I found a quote that Winston Churchill apparently said, is that man will occasionally stumble over the truth, but most of the time he will pick himself up and continue on. And I think that's kind of what that is. It's like, in the album, we're telling the truth, we're telling what's going on, but it's like people just go, oh yeah, okay, whatever, and carry on. They don't want to face it. That's part of the problem.
Yep, this is it. I'm actually going to try and get that up so we can listen to a bit of it. This is where I get to have my technical issues. Right, where was I? No, not there.
I think with that song as well, is we had the keyboard player Tim done some great stuff. I think Moo was on guitar as well, and it's a really filled out, massive kind of not really rock, but kind of pop rock. I don't know how you'd call it, really. Me and Al was having a conversation the other day about how we would genre the music, but it's kind of difficult to do so. Like you say, the topic is the main thing that stays consistent, and the music
I'll
is
just pop in there a minute, 42.
direction sometimes.
Oh, the genre I would class this as.
All right. Yeah, I just want to have a sort of little bit of a chat about the genre of these tracks, because it was just the problem we had with the first album is a similar, in a way, not a problem with this now, because we think that we found an audience for it before. With the first album, every track was completely different, and the same with this track. Every track really is very, very different. And when you have to upload it to the distribution service, DistroKid, it asks you for a genre and a subgenre. And you've got a drop-down box with all these things listed. And you think there's nothing really that suited it. I'm looking for sort of, dissident conspiratorial sort of genre, which of course doesn't exist. But what does bring everything together really is the content that it deals with, not so much the musical styles of the actual songs, but the content of it. And the first album was like pre-pandemic, and we were sort of, it was no surprise when it came, and he was right to sort of bring that up. And we started the second one right just actually during it, like I said earlier. I think with COVID Kids, I think it was the first song that we did. I think he'd been writing Herald the Dawning at the same time, but that's what really sort of brings it all together. And I think that now there can be an audience for this, because we're not looking to aim it to rock fans or ska fans, or I think I listed it as rock music in a subgenre of new age, and it was like that was the nearest thing. I mean, I'm not really into new age stuff at all, but thought that was the closest thing that I could do with it. And just certainly before we go on, it is on all the platforms, all of them. Yeah, like I said earlier, DistroKid is the distribution service that is used, but it is on every single one. The only one that it's not on is YouTube Music. That said, I searched for it in YouTube and found it on YouTube Music. So, but I didn't intentionally put it on that. Anyway, yeah, that was all I wanted to say for that minute. So yeah.
So it's pretty much available everywhere.
It's available everywhere. Every single platform.
Everywhere you go,
it's on them. Yeah, it's there.
Perfect.
All right, mate.
I'm guessing the genre of sweet, pretty country acid house music isn't in the drop down.
No, I might have chosen that as a sub genre.
Yeah. See, if it gives you, create your own, the way it does with genders. See, what you need to do is roll all the way down to the bottom where it says other.
Yeah. Look, they've got to include that soon, haven't they? You know, it's a shame, but yeah, there was no choice.
Yeah, it's, anytime I get something new to sign up to, which I did actually yesterday with Spotafy, because it was new signing up, and I was quite disappointed because it gave me the option of male, female, something else, and then there was other, and I clicked on the other, looking for a drop-down menu, which didn't come, so I had to go back and declare myself as male. But I was looking for the other, and then gives you a customize, because I was obviously going to put it on an attack helicopter for my gender, but because why not?
Why not? Let's make up Chicago.
Yeah, well, there are.
Before, so I know you do actually identify as an attack helicopter.
Yeah, well,
you've been consistent about that.
Yeah, there's very many of us. It's making it on the drop down menus. It's good, but that's what you want to do. You want these music platforms need to give you another, so you can invent your own category. So there's that. Anything else you want to say, or will I continue?
That was it, really. I just wanted to clear those couple of things up.
Right, here we go. Is sweet country acid house music. That's a genre Alabama 3 put themselves into. That's where I swiped that idea from, but it is It's quite similar in that there's talky bits in it, and it's not clearly. It's definitely music. It's definitely good music, but it's not. It doesn't fit into like pop music or rock or punk. It's something else.
It's not like we're a reggae band and we just do reggae.
Yeah,
It's like it's just the songs come out kind of just how they come out, really. I mean, proof of like the last one on the album is "Eats the Bugs," which
yes,
I'll come up with it. It was just totally the other end of the scale, kind of from the first one, you know. So it's like a drum bass kind of thing with you doing the rap over the top, which is fantastic, you know, Irish rap.
yep. it's it's absolutely mad. I'm not having much luck getting this thing pulled up.
But don't worry, you could probably try later.
Yeah,
But from the first song and then to the end song, "Eats the Bugs." I mean, you did a great video on that, and
yeah. Thank you.
we did mention that, and that's up. And I saw quite a lot of views on that, so that was really good.
Oh, that has had quite the viewing. It's also going very well in Australia, by the way.
Yeah, I was mentioning something about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, there's a girl called Robin has a show called Courage is the Cure.
All right.
And she heard of my friend Luke from Australia, and she's been playing that in her show. And then I was on, and she's coming back on with me. So it's getting spread about rightly.
Yeah, brilliant. That's good. That's good news, man. So
Yeah, and I also think there's another album. There's another song on that album that she's going to absolutely love. Nothing more contagious than fear.
yeah, that's the kind of that one was. Well, that's obviously about the pandemic, you know, and all the bullshit lies we were told, and just kind of basically my experience of how everybody was acting, and I knew it couldn't possibly be that way because it wasn't science, you know, it just wasn't making any sense whatsoever, and yeah, and then it's been proved right, isn't it? And they just scared the fuck out of everybody, basically, and that was, you know, that's all it was. You know, with all wearing all the masks and keeping the distance, and it just was this fear mongering, where you had families turning against the people just because they were refusing to do it. You know, and you get sacked from your job if you didn't take the medical intervention, and now you hear about. I don't know if you see Dr. John Campbell's stuff. He goes through all the there's over 100,000 access deaths that have happened in the last 2 years that you know can't be unexplainable. And he's even just shown now the morticians are saying that when they're cleaning out the bodies, all this like plasticky, gooey blood clot stuff is coming out that they've never seen before.
Yep.
So this stuff presumably was, you know, from this vaccine, and it's killed 100,000 people. Andrew Bridgen's been, you know, trying to make it, you know, looked into, but nobody wants to listen to him. Obviously not, because they're all a part of the plan. And yeah, fucking terrible what they did. And we've got more round the corner as well to come from the WHO.
Yes, they are getting ready for going again.
Yeah,
we're hearing the same story. It's almost amazing. There's an election going on in America. Check. There's an outbreak in China. Check. The World Health Organization are asking for a united response to the outbreak. Check. And you can just see all those bricks falling into place.
Yep. Well, they've got the hand to control everybody now. So it won't be the governments. It will just be the World Health Organization saying, right, we've got to shut this down. And it's not, I mean, this has got to be the tipping point now for most people to realize, you know.
Oh, and also every time you hear World Health Organization, you need to put the two words in front of that because it is a United Nations organization. So it's the United Nations World Health Organization. That's who's that's the body of the octopus and the tentacles all coming off it.
And WEF on the end, because they're all
Yeah.
that is all combined. And
Yes.
been set up for that purpose by the Rothschilds a long time ago. So yeah, that's one we got to look out for. So but the one that went with that as well was on the album was COVID Kids, which I kind of wrote
Yes.
at the time it was all happening, because I could see and what was going to happen to the children. You know, it was like, okay, the adults weren't going to work, but the children not going to school was very, very detrimental, you know, because to the learning, to their social skills, so many things. And that's what's happened. They've you know, they've got the education has gone down. I mean, it was going down anyway, but that's really gone down. You know, now you've got all this mad woke thing that's come out on top to even make the children even more confused. So that was the COVID kids, you know.
Yeah. Oh, the hell, you're actually teaching the kids reading, writing, and arithmetic. Let's make sure. But before we make sure they're literate and all, let's fill them with ideas about gender ideology, about misconceptions about wage gaps.
Well, tell them that they could change their body structure. God put them in the wrong body. Tell them that load of bullshit, and not allow the parents to have any input into it or any say. And if they do, they can take them away. They've done it in America. They take this child away from his family. His family didn't to go down the route. You know, it's just like mental. I think there's one woman, I can't remember where she was now, but she said no to the whole thing, and they've gone down on her, and you know, she's anti, you know, genderistic, and it's just madness the amount of people that are just following. But
there's two ongoing cases. One's a mother and one's a father who are objecting to the transition of their children, and both those parents are losing their court cases.
Yeah,
and one of them's in Texas.
Yeah, so, it's in America. Yeah, it's
but you always think about Texas as being this based in reality state that would be the natural protection against this bullshit. But no, even in Texas, they put it into Dallas, which is quite a liberal area. And fella, you've got no right to say that this child that identifies as a boy whenever he's with you, but a girl whenever he's with his mother. We're just going to go ahead and transition that boy into a girl. And
it's just unbelievable. And that, I mean, that this is the other song on the album, Words of Orwell. I mean, I read Orwell's book again, and so much of it is actually there. It's happening. It's just like you will deny the evidence of your eyes and your ears. You know, then that's the whole thing of the 2 + 2 is 5. It's like, you know, it's not 5, but you're just agreeing. And it's like, you know, a man can't have a baby, but you're just saying it because you want to fit in with the crowd, and you're too scared because you're going to lose your job or whatever, you know, to say, no, this is bullshit. And this is what's happening. It's like, there's no way a child should even be contemplating this idea. And if it was, you say, well, look, just wait until you're 18 before you get a tattoo. Wait until you're 18 before you join the army. Wait until you're 18 before you join, you know, like you would do normally. In a normal society, you just say, wait until you're 18, then you can do what the fuck you
want. When I was 8 or 9, I had this fixation that it was Superman, right? Which is quite strange, particularly because I was a shortish kid for my size. You know, it wasn't big for my size at any stage either. But my parents would indulge me and let me run about the house and whatnot with like a sheet tied around my neck, like a cape and whatnot. But they did not let me jump out of the window to fly.
No.
right? You know, but now we've got these kids that are going along with their parents. I know that you've called me John, but I actually think I'm Joanne and I'm a girl, and they're like, okay, we'll go along with that.
Yeah.
It's fucking mad.
I mean, to one point, you could probably say, all right, you could let, like you did with Superman, you could dress up as a girl.
Yeah.
But to change your body, to do something that can never ever be reversed back again, and it's quite it's just evil, isn't it? I mean, it's just madness and it's complete craziness.
Until around the 1950s, I'm not sure when the law changed, but up until I believe it was the 1950s, to dress a newborn baby boy up to the age of 5 in girls' clothes was called petticoating, and it was illegal. It was actually a crime.
Well, I think
Class as child abuse.
yeah, 'cause that has an effect as well. So it's like
yes, but now that's no longer, not even is it just not a crime anymore. It's stunning and brave.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. That's just a mad thing. And again, from Orwell, and in the song, it's like it's about how they're changing the English language.
Yes.
And I come across a thing where it said in the English literature exams now, they're scrapping. Before you had to write it with a pen and paper.
Yep.
Your English literature exam. Now they're allowing computers. So it's like, well, hold on a minute. So you can use cut and pay, you could use spell check, you could use, and they're saying, yeah, well, but that's not, how the hell can that be? You know, and so this is the demise of the English language. They're changing the books. They're taking words out of old books. You know, Enid Blyton comes to mind.
Yep.
They're messing with the whole history. So it's like, you know, in another few years, the children won't be taught what was actually written down. It'll all be changed, and nobody's speaking correct English anymore. And that's all part of that.
Yeah, we are losing the definitions of more and more work. The one I always beat on about is the legal definition of a family was a father, a mother, and children. And that's a family. If you don't have that, it's not classed as a family. But because of gay marriage and everything, the legal definition of family is now parents and children.
Mm-hmm.
But that's taken away from the proper definition of a parent, because a mother is a person that gave birth to a child. A father is a person that impregnated a woman that's going to give birth to a child. Right? But that's no longer the case, because you've got couples with two mothers or two fathers, and they obviously don't fulfill, one of those does not fulfill the definition of a mother or a father, but we're just going to let them use that anyway. And in the same way that wedding and marriage has been conflated, because a wedding is a ceremony involving a bride, a groom, and God. And a marriage is a civil service that involves a bride, a groom, and the state.
Yeah.
And we've conflated those two things, which means that people who, two men or two women that want they'll advertise their marriage as a wedding, and from that put pressure on the church to conduct weddings for two men or two women, which they should never ever do, because it's not in the definition.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to take God out of the picture, basically.
Oh,
you know, the devil is trying to get you away from God, by even saying that God made a mistake when he made you, and that's why you can change. It's all anti-Christians now, you know. It's crazy.
It's a very large scale attack on the nuclear family, on children on religion.
Yeah.
And the reason why they want everybody so broken is then they can usher in their Marxist communist.
Yeah. Well, they're dividing us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dividing us, getting us to hate anything, this person's viewpoint, that, and it's so much division now. And like just like you say, that it's all in line to bring in the state run, control. I mean, that's the song. The album is called Mercury is Rising. It's like,
Yeah.
and that song is again basic about everything that's happening and how the temperature's going up, but it's not the climate change. It's
No.
people's boiling, their anger and their frustration, their confusion, because they don't know the truth and they're being pulled this way and that way, and
Yeah,
the phone in their hand is manipulating them, and that's our prison cell, and it can take so much information that they can use against you, and it's just like kind of saying hold on and get back to God in a way, don't go along with it because it's all crazy, and it just pull back a little bit and take a breath and realize it's it's not the real thing. So that's kind of what that song's about.
One other thing that became quite obvious to me, this is how oblivious I've been to music. I attempted to, whenever the album came out, I went on to my iTunes with the intention of buying the album to download it. Yeah, sort of owned it. And it turns out that Apple Music is now a subscription service. So you can't actually buy it.
No way.
Right. Then I haven't bought music in a very long time. Because quite frankly, I haven't seen music that I wanted to buy. Definitely nothing out of the charts. And I clicked on, attempted to buy it. Apple Music's now a streaming service. You pay so much a month and you can access all this music. And I'm like, right, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Created a StreamYard account and listen to it on StreamYard. But again, that's a subscription account. And I'm thinking, we've just made this song, Eat the Bugs. You will own nothing. And actually owning the digital download, it's not just as straightforward as one would have thought.
That's no surprise there then.
Yeah, I mean, it's like only whenever I went to actually buy the download did I see how pernicious this shit has got. Because everything, all the music you're consuming on a subscription service, you don't own that. That could be removed at any time.
Yeah.
It's and the you will own nothing doesn't just mean that you'll not be allowed to have a car. You'll have to use public transport. You'll not own your house. You'll rent it. You'll buy everything. It also means that even very simple things like music, video games, it's going to get to a stage where your fridge is rented, and if it breaks down, you get a new one. There's no more of this thing of whereby, oh, this is broken, I'm going to get a new part, put it in, fix it. We've been heading this way with cars for a very long time. If you want to keep your warranty, you have to get the correct person to service it. So you can see it just keeps on. It's like a constrictor snake that just keeps squeezing just a little more out and a little more out.
Yeah.
And the stuff that you thought you could own, you can't.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, you're noticing it. They're slipping it in, and it's like that's why we put Stepping Stone in the Monkeys. Yeah. It's okay. The verses aren't exactly that, but it is. I don't want to be a stepping because it's a tiptoe. It's a little stepping stone, a little bit. They keep doing slowly, bringing in this agenda, and they make it out that it's it's so simple. It's so convenient for you. You know.
Oh yeah.
I was gigging. There was a woman at the bar, and she was paying for drinks with her phone. You know.
Yep.
And I goes, oh, and she said, oh yeah, it's so convenient. I said, yeah, but I said, you know, you're going to miss the cash when they finally stop it. You know. And she kind of looks at me. She goes, oh, I said, well, you won't be able to give your grandchildren any money, but she goes, oh, that'll be great. That'll be fine. I thought, okay. So I go and sit down, and then I'm watching her, and she's collecting the bingo money.
Yeah.
She's getting all the bingo cards already and everything. So I said to her, how are you going to do the bingo without the cash? And she went, oh, yeah. You know, so it's these little things. People think, oh, this is so great. But, you know, when they take that cash away from us, you know, that is going to input us so bad. You know, it's, you know, the control they will have and the things we won't be able to do anymore. It's going to be a nightmare.
I'm finding more and more often the fast cash machine, whenever you go up there, it says out of order because there's no money in it, and which forces me to tap my card, which I hate doing. Apart from everything else, I lose track of how much I've spent because I would go to fast cash machine, lift out 50 quid, and then whenever I've no money in my wallet, I know, right, I've 40, you've spent 50 quid there. You need to have a think about what you're doing because you've nothing really to show for that. But whenever you're just tapping it away in your card, and as people are now doing with their phone, you lose track of your money. It stops being a physical thing. It's a number on a computer screen. So who cares if there's a big minus in front of it? And
the other thing is what the whole point is really is what they did with the truckers. You know, they just stopped the truckers in Canada. They just stopped their account. I mean,
yep,
they consider you to be a terrorist, and anybody now can be considered a terrorist if you go against the grain. They can just stop your account, and you'll go to pay for something, and you'll find you'll have no money there. And it's like, what the hell is going to happen? You know, if you can't pay your rent or something.
Oh, and terrorism does, or probably did, have a proper definition, which was violent acts in order to progress. Violent acts in order to progress a political movement. Right? Yeah. Now, that truckers' convoy did not have the violent acts. So how can it be terrorism?
Yeah.
Because they've redefined it.
Yep. And there was a woman I was watching, and because she'd gone along to some protest about, I don't know what it was, the COVID or whatever, she is now, I think, a domestic terrorist.
Yep.
You know, and there's whereas where you haven't committed a crime, you haven't caused any problem to anybody, no money, no nothing, but you are now, you know, you're classed as somebody who's bad. I can't remember the exact term was, but it was like, it's just a joke. It's unbelievable how we're just allowing it to happen, allowing it to come through, and you know.
And right, I'm gonna stop it there. Al, anything you want to add at the moment? I've probably caught you.
No, not at all. No, I was all there. I was just replying to Rory Herbert about the that dial-up phone for British Telecom had to rent that, but I don't remember that.
Oh, yes.
Right, but do you remember party lines? Because my mum and dad's house, we had a party line with our next door neighbour, and you pick up the phone.
Yep, and the next door neighbour's on the phone.
Yeah, they share the line. You know, just
crazy. There wasn't enough telephone lines in Great Britain.
No.
Yep.
Man. And so Emma G was saying about the rental TVs, and I remember that.
Yeah.
And the TVs were shit back then. But I seem to remember every Saturday morning, the guy from the TV rental company would come round with his toolbox and squirting Servicol on the components, and that smell of the tubes and the valves. I just remember that as like really evocative as a kid, you know, and I'd be there. He probably hated my guts, but he was probably used to all kids, you know, being looking over his shoulder and looking in the back of the TV and
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's like something off of something out of the TARDIS and Doctor Who at the time, wasn't it? It was like, what the fuck is all this shit in here? You know,
Yeah.
it was.
What about the
funny.
guy that came to take all the 50p's out of the back of it?
Well, we never had a. I think that it must have been done by the bank. We never. Well, I don't think I remember seeing a coin one. I'm certainly aware that they were around, but yeah, that passed me by the coin box once.
See that the coin box, the coin box TVs were the very first version of your power card electric, because you didn't have the money to pay that every month. But what happened was you put in your 50p every time you ran out of 50p to stop working, and then at the end of the month the guy would come, take all the 50p's out, count them, and if, generally speaking, you'd have more 50p's in it than you actually needed to cover the cost of the month, and he would give you, say, a tenner back,
Right.
which you then put in your stack for making the TV work. But if you haven't been using the TV a lot, you could maybe own a tenner, and that was a much bigger problem.
Special Canassi makes CRT TV again. Yeah. And Matt Hancock, yeah, party lines means something else these days. I have no idea what you mean. I don't know what you're talking about. And Robin, yeah, Communism 101.
Yeah.
If you think about it, and Justice talked about the Orwell, you know, it amazes me that we're harking back to the book 1984 all the time. You can't get away from it though. You just you can't. It's you know, it's a cliche. I even said it myself as a cliche about it being a manual.
Yeah, it was written as a guide, but these fuckers used it as a manual.
Yeah, that's right. And so you think about what the TV screens that was sort of in the idea that was introduced in the book 1984.
Yeah,
and haven't they used that, you know, to its greatest possible degree? You know, it's incredible. But like I said, we've got screens in every room in the house, and we do watch stuff in our lounge, and we'll watch certain series that we want to see. I know I usually watch one episode and see how woke it is first before watching the rest of it, you know. But we've got screens in every room, and but we just don't put them on, you know.
Yeah. Right. Well, we have a little musical interlude.
I reckon so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
But
what do you fancy? Do you want me to give you your choices?
Yeah, go on.
Right, you've got the three that I obviously have downloaded, the ones with videos.
Yeah.
And the other one is the other one that I have.
Fear. Nothing more contagious than fear.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's have a video.
Right.
Let's have Harmony Melody in Rhyme, because when you're doing mixing and production, what you tend to do when you finish a song or project, you let it go out there to the world and you move on to the next thing. And it's only occasionally you look back. That's what I do anyway. And I know a lot of other people that do. You have to move on. You don't just make something and just keep watching it, listening to it. If you do, it'll drive you mad. You think, oh, I should have that snare drum a little bit louder, or that bit of, you know, you put it out to the world and you let it go. So I hadn't heard it for a little while until I was doing the masters for the album, just redoing the masters, so everything was roughly at similar levels. And listening to that track again after 3 or 4 months, and I was just thinking, wow, what a great track, and what a cool video. So I reckon let's have a bit of that. I know everybody likes that one as well.
Yeah, I'm going to pull that up now.
42 speaking. Welcome to the Resistance. You are not alone, and we shall walk this journey together. What about you, chum? If one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. Let us gather together those that can perform, and from the scarred timbers build our own platform. We're from that grand house they tried to burn down. There's gold in the ashes if you look around. Let us gather together those that can perform, then from those scarred timbers build our own platform. Build our own platform. We will sing words of wisdom. We will sing for all time. Harmony, melody, and rhyme. We descended from minstrels in old days of yore. We will create a culture as we did once before. Forced to stand by as our country was sold. Did you really think we'd leave that story untold? So one brings a guitar and one brings a voice. Then they stand together and make their own choice. They have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. They have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. Stand by as our country was sold. Did you really think we'd leave that story untold? We will sing words of wisdom. We will sing we will sing harmony, melody, rhyme. Harmony, melody, and rhyme. So one brings a guitar and one brings a voice. Then they stand together and make their own choice. I have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. Never realized you could not kill a dream. So we will gather together those that can perform, and from the scarred timbers build our own platform. You're talking to 42. What about you, chum? If one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. Sing words of wisdom, we will sing for all time. We will sing for our people, harmony, melody, and rhyme. We will sing words of wisdom, we will sing for all time. We will sing for our people with the ancient trilogy of harmony, melody, rhyme. Sun each became a deity, independent parts of another trilogy. But you never realized you cannot kill a dream. You cannot kill a dream. And we shall walk this journey together.
Oh man, it's such a vibe, that tune. It's nice to hear it again.
Yeah.
I just reply to something right at the church. I've already heard it before I forget. We're saying about the about valve amplifiers and that.
Yes.
And it's right. I don't use valve amplifiers myself anymore, but occasionally you do on a flying gig or something like that. You normally have the bass amp would quite often be an Ampeg. Great big 8x10 cabinet with a massive, great big valve head on it. And the last time that I used one, I was in Germany, Leipzig. It was a flying gig, so I just took my bass. It's a Clan of Celts gig, and they had the Ampeg rig there. And I was standing. It was a big old stage. It's quite a big venue, and I was standing about 10 feet away from this thing, and we were, it was cooking. We had it up. It's pretty loud, and I could just remember I could smell that valve amp, right? And it's just, and I remember thinking to myself, is that thing going to catch fire? It's like, it was Ampeg SVT, yeah, spot on special K on that. Of course it was. It's a big old 300 watt. Now, most of the amplifiers are used, but A, B, or D class, right? And they're 500 watt, but 300 watt valve power, right, is a lot more powerful. It's almost limitless in its power. So 300 valve watts is a lot. And the SVT, the Ampeg SVT, is sort of it's been a sort of kind of industry standard for rock and roll. But that was it, and that was getting back to the sort of the smell of the TVs, and that was the other thing. So it has sort of an evocative smell of remembering what the TV, the old valve and CRT and valve TV smelt like. And I'm 10 feet away from this amp, and I'm cooking the thing up, thinking, is that going to catch fire? And I was at the same time thinking, well, I don't really care. It's not mine, and it'll be quite cool, on stage. But yeah. Anyway, sorry, mate. You want to get back to that tune? It's great to hear.
No, I'm actually quite interested in that, and I'm like, because I'm hearing terms that might as well have been in Japanese, because I have no fucking clue what any of that technical shit is. I'm guessing that valve amp's like a big fuck off speaker.
No. It did have a massive, great big speaker cabinet, but a valve. Well, it can be a combo, but no, really the sort of pro stuff. You'd have a separate cabinet, like an 8x10. It's 8 10-inch speakers, and they call it like the fridge, because it's like a massive American fridge, and a pain in the ass to haul around. No, but the amplifier would sit on top of it. And it'd have all the valves in there, and that's what you plug into. That's where you adjust your tone or whatever, and the amount of drive that you put on it. And it's that would then power the great big speaker cabinet underneath it, and they get hot, and you smell them. It's not. It's just it's just like a smell of a past era. And we know what smells are like, so that they're the most sort of connected to our memory. Out of all of our senses, smells could do, it's all right.
It does sense.
Like Japanese.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's not Japanese. It's Japanese. That's like a mixture between Scottish and Japanese. No fucker can ever understand any of that.
I like it. Still in the club. Smell my cheese.
Yeah. It does. Whenever you smell something, it does take you to a space and time.
Yeah. Exactly. If you ever smell a little bit of Kuros, I haven't got any. But I used to wear Kuros back in the 80s, and I think a couple of years ago, I think we got some off of Amazon or something, and just for nostalgic reasons. And as soon as you spray that I'm right back in some dodgy nightclub in Luton in 1988 or something like that. It's just amazing, doesn't it?
Anglo, I'm going to address this. Great collaboration. Where did you bump into Justice Kane and Al Mac? Al Mac's a scrub, and we met via the Great House of Scrubs, and I had Al on for a talk about creating music and producing and the bands he's in, and also because the Climate Celts and their song that should be called the Monday Club, and I'm thinking anybody making music about the Monday Club, I need to have a conversation with, because it's a cultural phenomenon I'm well familiar with. People that knock off on Friday and Saturday and Sunday's just not enough weekend for them, so they're still in the pub on Monday. And we had that conversation, and it was directly after that, and about the half hour after I finished that stream, I had the basis of what became Harmony, Melody, and Rhyme written. Didn't know where it was going to go, and Al sent it over to Justice, who he knew because he worked with him previously, and it all sort of snowballed from there. That's pretty much where all that came from.
Yeah, it did indeed. And I'll say it's funny getting back to the album. I was waiting because I heard the first draft of the Fear, which we can hear later on. Nothing More Contagious Than Fear. He started writing that probably about a year ago. It's just called Fear. That's his working title. And I think I did the bass line for it, 10 months ago, something like that. And I was saying, look, I want to get this EP up. He says, well, no, I want to get this one on it. I want to get this track on it. I said, okay, well, I'll wait for this one. But we need to get this done. And so in the meantime, that's where we, did Harmony, Melody, and Rhyme with you. Then we kind of said, right, and I said to you, right, this is going on the album. So he's still got an idea for a second Orwell song, and still wants to finish Fear. Then we do Ballad of Ballard. So, and I said, look, right, we're going to have an album's worth of material here, rather than it being a 5-track EP. So, yeah, that's how that came about. Anglo, I know you've known me around for the in the scrub scene. I'm sort of like part of a musical act, Justice Kane, but we basically, Justice refers to himself as that. But it's he's a songwriter. I do all the production and music and bass, obviously, on not all the music. I get people in. That's part of being a producer. It's saying, I want some saxophone on this, and looking through who you know, and approach someone and say, would you do some saxophone on this, or will you play some keys on this? Remixes. Yeah, I'm all cool about remixes. Remixes are fun. I don't know if remixes would be relevant to the stuff that we do, but I certainly feel that back in the day.
What the hell would you do to it to remix it?
Yeah. No, I think it's talking about doing when you got the 12-inch versions, you'd have a lot of breakdown in the middle with just where the drums going and introducing extra things. I'm assuming he means that. I know that especially Karen Lassie does.
I was thinking possibly dance versions or something.
Yeah. I think that's traditionally what we do remixes. I'm hoping he's not saying, how do you feel about somebody else mixing it to you?
No, it's definitely not that. It's definitely not that. The mixing and the production on this stuff is fucking. It's wild. It's fucking. It's excellent. Like,
no, thank you. What's fun about doing this? So a lot of the bread and butter stuff I do, people will either send me tracks. For me to mix a whole album or mix a whole track, and they'll send me the tracks, and I'll know what the genre is, and I'll know that there's only certain things that I can do. I have to keep it within the bounds of that genre. If it's rock stuff, I know that I'm going to be wanting 4 guitars going on each one. I'll be panning from hard left and right. You'll be making it as wide as possible. You'll be making it as big sounding as possible. I know the kind of snare drum sounds you're going to want. I know you're going to be doubling the vocals and a bit of slapback echo, or mixing some reverb, the sort of classic rock style. And it doesn't leave you anywhere to go. So you send the track stems and you try and just make it sound as good as you can. But there isn't a massive amount of artistic input or creative input into it. When they're doing stuff with Justice Kane, it's one of the few times everything goes out the window. All bets are off, and I can do what I want, And like he'll send over some vocal stuff, and I'll listen to it. And there's a bit in nothing more contagious than fear where he's done some like silly voices, and usually if an artist would send something over, and I'll just go, yeah, I'm going to delete that, or just go, I'm muting that. But because this is a completely different kind of project, and I'm just thinking, no, it's silly, and I'm going to leave it in because it deserves. It's totally like in that song as well. What it's talking about is something quite dark, but the music, it's like a pop song, and it's all up tempo, and there's still drums in it, and it's just ridiculous, and that's why I think it's fun. It's one of
the. Yes, what brings me to the fact that they're all quite different. I've got a point. This is a bit of a tangent, but see in a couple of months' time, whenever we're all you, LEC, Emma G, and I are at the Mountains of Mourne, glamping away in our hot tub, and we've got that album playing on the Bluetooth speaker.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. What do you think the people get to hear it from the next glamp over?
If I'm out and about and I'm playing it in the car, I always listen to music very loud, and I sometimes might have the window down, have the fag in the car, and it'll be some mad fucking track, and I'll see people looking around sometimes thinking, what the fuck is that bloke listening to? You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I imagine it's something like Emma G, exactly. Yes, we are, mate. Absolutely can't wait. We're having, people don't know, we're having a little meet up because we haven't met in person before. We spoke a lot privately, and we're having a little meet up. We're going over to Northern Ireland, beautiful Northern Ireland in the Mournes Mountains, and meeting up with 42 and Emma G, and it's going to be wicked. We're going to be barbecuing it, hot tubbing, and we might have a drink. Do you think you might have a drink?
I'm pretty sure we will. There's definitely going to be alcoholic beverages involved there.
Yeah.
Yes, have to have a few beers and chill the fuck out. The place that we're going, Emma and I have been there before. It is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. We looked at the some of the photos. Thank you, MG, for suggesting it as well, and yourself for passing it on. And we looked at the photos, and my Mrs. Ali was this is fucking amazing. So we were only intending to spend a couple of days to see you guys and travel around a bit. So family from down the south of that island.
Yes.
In the Irish Sea.
Don't worry, you're fine.
But we're probably not going to bother going down there. We're just going to spend the whole week up in that area. I know you guys come down for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And what we do after that, we don't know, but we'll be booking a ferry back. So we're going to spend that whole time. Might try and pop up and see our brother Ragnar at some point.
Yeah.
So I know he's up that way, and I'd love to do a little bit of the ancient coast again. So that's nice.
No, he's the other direction.
I thought he's up by Port Rush kind of area.
Oh, but he is down towards Port Rush, but where you're at is the opposite end.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know. Yeah.
Right.
But, a bit of a drive.
You're
over,
heading, yeah, you're heading north from Belfast, and he's sort of south. I think. To be totally honest with
no,
you,
he's right up the top there, in the top of Antrim.
yeah. Well, we will figure that out.
I'm not. I presume I'm not doxing him. He's
No, no. Like
you said before, he's up that way.
here's the thing. There's only one very small spot in the world that produces accents like Ragnar's. I know everybody says my accent's bad, but holy fuck, Rags is a whole different other kettle of frogs, and yeah, that can only come from one geographic location.
Right. Okay. Right. Well, I don't know where it's originally from then. Well, I'll put it like this in some ways. If you think about Scottish accents and Glasgow, where you have the Glasgow accent if you're Scottish, where for me Rags is a bit more like Western Highlands.
Yeah,
It's softer, bit more singy. I don't know, but you probably hear it differently. I don't know.
yeah. It's a great big shopping centre in Ballymena here. that actually was an advertisement on our TV.
Right.
So it was a shopping centre, and I swear to God, it was the size of nothing. It was the absolute size of fuck all. I think it was Fairhill. But at the end of the advertisement, there was somebody going, "It's a great big shopping centre in Ballymena, hey. It's outstanding in its field."
Well, that's exactly your accent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm not that good at doing the country bumping accents, but yeah, so there's that. Anyway,
I take the piss out of all the people from. So I work quite a lot with bands, people that live in the Peterborough area, and we were out in the sort of out in the fens a little bit, which is those who don't know, it's that sort of flat lands. If you go sort of east of Peterborough, and it's a very sort of agricultural area, and so they've got very much a sort of country bumpkin accents. But to me, people who live in Peterborough have that same accent, and they were taking a piss. We were playing at some Tarrington Lakes or somewhere like that up there, and they were taking the piss out of the local accent, saying, "Look at these, country bumpkins." And I said to all the Peterborough lot, I said, "Yeah, but that's how you sound to me. You know what I mean? You just sound exactly the same." Thanks for madness, Matt Hancock. Yeah, funny enough, I've done a few gigs where Suggs was there, and we did a lot of stuff for Chelsea. But Singer in the band kept asking him to come up, and Suggs just fucked him off every time. So it was quite funny. So I've never been on the same stage as Suggs, but he was in the audience. Let's put it that way. Anyway.
Yeah, right. Well, I put the what am I doing? Stop. Right, hold on.
A bit more, JK.
Yeah,
enough listening to me.
I'm getting that word go. Right there it is. The people who are cheering this on, the leftists, communists, Marxists who are cheering this on, obviously haven't got a lot of foresight, because sooner or later this will come for them.
Yeah. Well, like in our last album, we had John's Revelation, was in the Bible.
Yeah.
No man can buy or sell unless there's the mark of the beast, which is obviously going to be a computer chip or something. And the rich, the poor, it's like everybody. So even the lackeys, the puppets who are doing all the will for the elites and everything, they will be a part of it. They're going to be losing everything. But I don't know. I don't know if it's greed or what. Their mind is not open to it. They're just carrying on like with the 15-minute cities things and getting us off the roads with our cars, and that's the plan. I just saw that the councils are saying we're going to stop the people parking on the pavements.
Yep.
to save disabled people. But who fucking you ever cared about them? And up here in Manchester, it's like the roads are so small. Anyway, we don't park on the pavement because we like to do it. We park there so that your fucking car don't get damaged and the fucking people can get down the middle of the road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to guess a lot of Manchester is the same 2 up, 2 down terraced houses we have in Belfast.
Yeah.
Mill houses, right? And you've got the street in the middle. And if you don't park your car half in the pavement, half in the road, there isn't space for a car to pass up the middle of that road.
No.
Because they were designed for whenever the traffic was a horse and cart.
Yeah, and not even that. Yeah, little cobble streets. And
Yeah.
well, Manchester's just like Coronation Street. I used to think, how could be? It must be the film set why they made the backyard so small. No, that's it. That's the size they are. They are that small. And the cobble streets out the front have been tarmacked over now. But there's so
those
they're going to bring this in. It's all just to stop you driving your car.
Those houses are uniform across the United Kingdom. What happened was somebody put up a mill or a factory or whatever, and then there was a design put up of how you could get the most houses into any area, and it turned out to be those terrace houses with the entry down the back for the waste collection, outside toilet far away from the kitchen for hygiene, 2 rooms downstairs, 2 rooms upstairs, and that blueprint was put in Manchester, Liverpool, Belfast, Glasgow, Nottingham. Everywhere that industrialized has them same houses. Yeah. So by default, we have those same streets that are very narrow. Good for playing Kirby, where you get your football and you throw it at the curb. But other than that, not really great for putting a lot of traffic through. So everybody has to park half in the pavement, half in the road.
Yeah. And that's it. But they're trying to make out, we're doing it for the disabled people. And it's like, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? You've never bothered about them before. You're not doing it because of that. You're doing it because you're going to find the people and you know damn well that they won't be able to do it. And it's just another push to stop people driving their car. Well, every time I go out and take my missus to work, there's a sign that says, flashing little sign that says, why not walk or cycle to work? The kind of thing. Yeah. Because I don't want to walk, because I want to drive my car, because it's nice and warm and it keeps me dry. And, we walked 100 years ago when we didn't have this, it's like just trying to make us go back in time. It's like, it'd be a good idea for you. No, it won't. Not doing it.
This goes back to, Eddie Cochran, Summertime Blues, whenever he's talking about you can't use the car because you don't work a lick, where the notion of having your own car and being able to go somewhere, take your girlfriend somewhere in the car, that freedom. Yeah. That we if you're as old as me and you grew up in the 70s, you aspired to that because no fucker in your street had a car, or at most I lived in a small terrace street and there was 3 people who had cars in that street, and they were part-time fire officers, right? So they had their main job and then a part-time job, and they needed the car to get that, but that's what got them that far to actually have a car. So we grew up aspiring to have a car.
Yeah.
And then in the 80s, you're aspiring to have a nicer car, and
but the format was usually you're going to leave school, you're going to get a job, get a car, get a girlfriend, get a house, and it's kind of like that kind of thing. That's how it was going to go.
Yeah.
I think poor little kids now that are growing up into this world, there's no hope or future for them. I can't see what they must be thinking in their mind. Turning on the television and seeing all this, there's going to be a war with Russia, there's going to be a war here, and it's just like, Jesus, what must they be thinking in their minds? It's terrible.
Yeah. And there's no European country at the minute that is fit to actually go to war anyway.
No,
because there's no one ready for it. We've no stuff left. We've sent all our equipment to Ukraine. It's in flames. we have the British Army is somewhere in around about 70,000 soldiers. That includes cooks, clerks, mechanics, everything. We've got probably 40 working tanks in the whole army. And
Just another fear mongering tactic.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's
but
and
yeah,
put money to spending billions over in Ukraine, more money for the military industrial complex. It's just, you know, with Orwell, war is peace. It's just this whole narrative that's still being pushed out. And if you saw the interview with Tucker Carlson and Putin, you know, they got so scared about it because it exploded the myth that Putin's this crazy madman. Well, Jesus, at least he can talk for over an hour. You know, fucking Biden, he can't talk for 2 seconds. You know,
well,
it's a joke.
well, they decided they're not going to charge him for having confidential documents because he's not fit to stand trial.
Yeah.
In what world can you be not fit, not mentally fit to stand trial, but be mentally fit to be the leader of a free world? Fuck off.
That's what I say. It's just this bringing us back to this crazy clown world. And people, this guy said the other day, because I used to wonder it as well. You used to say, how did the German people allow what happened to happen? Well, exactly the way it's happening now, with the people just carrying on, blindly accepting everything that was going down. You know, it wasn't, you know,
well,
the same thing going to happen.
The German people knew that the German people knew enough that they didn't want to know anymore.
Well, probably like this whole thing, just
denying
what you see and hear with your eyes and ears, you know.
Yeah, stop your lying eyes. You know, it's don't worry about the fact that we've changed the definition of vaccination. Don't worry about the fact that we've changed the definition of medical treatment. Don't worry about the fact we've changed the definition of an emergency. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Just do what you're told.
Yeah, just trust us.
Trust us. We've got this.
Yeah.
And you know, all you have to do is have a look at the state of the roads and the potholes. Have a look at the state of the NHS and the waiting lists. Have a look at the state of anything the government runs.
Yeah, but they're destroying. The purpose is to destroy the NHS. They want to privatize the whole thing. I mean, they're killing it left, right, and center. Even with all the immigrants coming over and everything else like that. There's no plan to send anybody to Rwanda. You know, the plan is to infiltrate England and everywhere with immigrants. And that's what's going to happen.
The Rwanda deal is at most 500 people per year.
Yeah, it's just bollocks.
Yeah, you know, it's 500 people a year is changing nothing.
No. They just keep going on and on and on about it again, just to divert you from really what's happening. You know, and nothing's happening. It's just going. You know, you can't tell me. I mean, you know, who owns these rubber dinghy shops? You know, where they're buying them from over in France. You know, just go over there and close them down. I mean, it's just so absurd.
Oh, well, better still, the rubber dinghy arrives and they don't arrest anybody for people trafficking.
Yeah, or like they just stop the people who are trying to enter illegally and send them back. Well, you know,
what about this? What about you arrest the person that's driving the boat for people trafficking?
Well, stop using the lifeboat service that is you know, funded by the people. Stop using that for a start. You know, and in Orwell, I remember that they used to watch the helicopters bombing the boats in the Mediterranean when the refugees were coming over. So I don't know if we're going to get to that stage. But I just want to mention one of the other tracks on the album is Tesla, Nikola Tesla.
Yes.
Who, you know, he was a great inventor, obviously. And they just, you know, he was all about, you know, free energy. And imagine if the world we live in now, if, you know, it had his way. Of course, they wouldn't let that happen. JP Morgan and Edison, they were making so much money out of their versions because I think, you know, the guy, Edison or JP, one of the two, he owned not just the electrical, but he owned the rubber to make the insulation. He owned the wood poles to put the poles up, and you know, everything was this massive amount of money. so they didn't want him to make something for free. Which is the same thing with the pharmaceutical companies. They're not going to find a cure for cancer because it's a big money making thing for them, and all they're interested in is keep people ill, so they make.
If there was a cure for cancer found tomorrow, how many people's out of a job?
Yeah, well, that person would be dead anyway. So there's been
there is far too much money to be made in cancer research.
Yeah, well, they're researching ways to make cancer, not do the other thing. So Tesla's a great song. It's kind of a punky
sound. It is.
I think Al did some great guitar on that one, and it's just really about Nikola Tesla, and he invented the radio, but Marconi got the credit for it. It's just it's just lies of history, So that's about that one,
Unfortunately, I've downloaded all of those songs, but unfortunately, I can't figure a way to make them play.
Well, I'll have to send you.
Yep. Oh well, Al sent me through all the tracks. I downloaded them. They're sitting there as music tracks, wave tracks. Whenever I go to present, it gives me an option of playing a video file, which the wave one is not, so it's not letting that up. Because I was hoping to be able to play it through. Now, the only thing I can do, which doesn't work, would be to try to play it and force it through my mic, but it's worse than not playing it at all. What I can do is the three that we've got videos for, which also it's going to sound a bit fucking rude because it's the three that I'm in. I can make them work.
Yeah, but that's great. I mean, I was going to come on to them because you did those videos, and obviously you're in them, and so that was great.
Yep.
You did that, and I said to Al the other day that I wanted to try and start working on a video for basically Herald the Dawning.
Yep.
And something like that along those lines. Lots of stuff, and
if you want any help with that, I'm up for that. We'll figure out. I'll explain to you the process I use to make my ones and help you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would, because I mean, your last one you did with Eats the Bugs is like, it's really great. So it's like I wanted to kind of do something like that for Herald the Dawning, and just all images of all the nonsense that's going on and stuff like that. And
I'm definitely up for helping you out with that.
Brilliant. Yeah, that'll be good. Well, we should get started on that. And words of Orwell as well, because I know in Ireland they brought out the hate bill, where you can't say anything now. It's just so much stuff that we can do. Just got to get started on it, really.
Yeah. Well, I've got them all downloaded, so I can put them in the iStudio and start building a video.
Great.
Yeah,
we'll definitely do that.
We can definitely do that.
Yeah. So that's so your one when we first started this all off was Harmony, Melody, and Rhyme.
Yep.
On the album, which we started off with, and that's about coming together, isn't it? Like bring the guitar, the voice.
Yeah, to basically bring people together that can actually produce a good quality, music that carries our message, and bringing the people who've got different elements of that, molding it together to create something bigger and better than the sum of its parts.
Well, that was so spot on for Justice Kane, because that's exactly what happened. When you did that, you brought in your special talent of poetry and words that you use a different way of saying things than I would, and I like that. And so that started that ball rolling off with you involved in it. And then we did had the idea for the ballad for Ballard. We heard about the finder of lost children, and the darker that you go down the rabbit hole, the more you find out, these terrible things that are happening that people just wouldn't believe, but it is.
Mr. 42,
child trafficking and everything else. Like that.
I remember. It's got to be 10 years ago.
I think it might be a good time for eating some bugs. I'm a bit peckish.
Yeah, that's. I was looking for just the right place to stop that. There's pretty much nothing left in this interview. It's the Eat the Bugs video and then with Sarah goodbyes and whatnot. So I'm going to pull that out now and put up some bug eating. And yeah,
But we still have time for okay.
Yeah,
Still have time for a bit of fear.
Yes, that's exactly it. Well, I'm going to pull that out. We'll do Eat the Bugs. We'll have a bit of a chat. We'll play Fear, and then we'll wrap. How's that sound?
Perfect, mate. Yeah, be lovely.
Right, hold on. I'll take that out and present video file. There we go. There it is. Right.
It's 42 speaking. Welcome to the Resistance. You will own nothing, and you will be happy. And you will eat the bugs.
Oh shit, man. Eat the Bugs? You got me wrong. You got me so wrong. You ever seen a cave drawing of somebody with a spear hunting a mosquito? Well, me either. We eat meat and we have choices. You cook the hedgehog right? It tastes like chicken. Fucking chicken. I ain't eating your bugs. I ain't eating your bugs. I started off with nothing and I'm never going back. I'm not getting on your progressive track. With Agenda 2030, I refuse to engage. I can see where it is going and it's just another cage. I've got hedgehog, I've got rabbit, I've got wild hog. Fuck it, I can even move to Alaska and get me a nice caribou. Eating your bugs. You're trying to take away what I fought so hard to get, so I'm going to say no to your cattle country. Eat the bugs, live in some communal pod with no fucking privacy. Own nothing and be happy. I've seen the people with nothing and they don't look happy. Eat the bugs, live in some communal pod with no fucking privacy. Own nothing and be happy. I'm not eating your bugs. Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm not eating your bugs. Fuck it. I'm not eating your bugs. Fuck it. Fuck it. Oh shit, man, you got me wrong. You got me so fucking wrong. There are millions of us in the UK, billions worldwide, unvaccinated, striding out into our third winter of death with not a care in the world. Eating pig, eating cow, eating chicken, and we will not conform. Fuck it, I'm not eating your bugs. Hey, Klaus Schwab, this is 42, and I want the word with you, motherfucker.
This is the fourth industrial revolution. We have another opportunity for the great reset. Technology is a critical weapon. History is truly at a turning point. We can shape a better world, and we will reglobalize to make it a better place. So will honor, and so will be, and so will eat the bugs.
Why we got me talking? Why are the United Nations in charge of Stonehenge? Keeping me away from the stones? That's not world heritage, that's British heritage. You're getting to the point where the people just want to be left alone and going to get involved. Tell me again, why is the United Nations running Stonehenge? Fuck it. Stonehenge, new games of fucking Penang Mountain Range, now owned by UNESCO, so you and I can never go. Fuck your 15-minute cities and your Internet of Things. We are going back to nature, see what that life brings. We had a good look at the banning you did, so we hook up with the Woodlander and take our shit off grid. Fuck it. We hook up with the Woodlander and take our shit off grid. Fuck it. We'll hook up with the Woodlander and take our shit off grid.
This is 42 speaking. Welcome to the Resistance.
Fuck it.
Oh dear, man. Yeah, when you're left to your own devices and you've got no rules on what you can do with a track or a video, you come out with crazy stuff like that. Yeah, I really enjoy watching that video. It's really good.
Yeah.
Enjoy that.
I really enjoyed making that video. That was it was a don't get me wrong, it was a job of work hunting down all the right clips, but I really enjoyed putting that together. I'm really pleased with it.
Yeah, he did a great job of that, and it's this whole song and the music and everything was just designed to just ridicule the whole concept of it all, and I think the video it captured that perfectly. So
I'm gonna address this point. Yeah, you didn't know the United Nations own English heritage. The United Nations don't own English heritage. They just dictate how they manage their properties. So while English heritage may be the listed owner of I forgot the name of the place now. Stonehenge. It's a UNESCO site, so it's under the auspices of the United Nations and UNESCO. And it was the UN that decided that nobody was allowed to get near the stones apart from on very certain days or by invitation only. So there's a bit of deceit going on there, and that whenever you first look up Stonehenge, you'll see it's managed by English heritage, but that's only provided they manage it in the way that the United Nations decided they should.
Yeah, Anglo, yeah. It's the same with every one of these tracks, really, because some of them are quite bizarre. Some of them are slow burners. I think like Eats a Bugs is probably one of the more accessible ones. But it's like if you ever get an album because you liked a first track or a release off of it, and you get the album thinking, oh yeah, I'm not too sure about the rest of this, and you take 2 or 3 listens, and it turns out it's the track towards the end of the album that you didn't like the first time round. After hearing it the 5th time round, that's the one that you love, and it's just the catchier tune that was released as a single. It's the one you get bored of quickly. But I'd like to say, this album is full of tracks like that. Some of them you think, what the fuck is going on here? I like the song Mercury is Rising is one of those. It's not the easiest to straight away think this is, it's quirky, but it's got great hooks to it and all that. But yeah, that's thanks for going over that UNESCO stuff
Yeah,
again because
I
people don't
Ben
realise that.
Ben SPQ. UNESCO stands for United Nations Education, Scientific, and Conservation Organization, and they set out the rules for every site that is UNESCO, which is pretty much anything that's of any importance whatsoever. And it's not just in Britain; it's in Australia, America, r- uh, right across the world. Martin, I have no idea who built the pyramids. I'm not even getting into that.
No, I know. Egman was correct. It was the Africans that built Stonehenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, from from Egypt.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think we need the UN to educate us about anything or preserve anything, which is the line in the song. That's not world heritage, that's British heritage. I think they should have their nose the fuck out of it. Oh, no, Budgie Burger has solved the mystery. It was built by Ken Dodd and the Daddy Man.
Who was that? Who was that? Like Michael Bentine. Do you remember Michael Bentine with those? I don't know where I'm going with this. For some reason, talking about Ken Dodd reminded me of Michael Bentine and those weird little creatures that were controlled from underneath. Do you remember them?
No.
No, that I tell you, look for it tomorrow. Michael Bentine's Potty Time, I think it was. Does anybody remember that? And it was all around at the same time, sort of Ken Dodd, you know, when we were kids. I'm sure
Potty
there's
Man?
something like that. Yeah, the Potty Men.
No,
Man,
I know about
Potty,
Bill being the Fry Pop Man.
no, not that. No, Potty.
No.
Was it Potty? I don't know why we've gone down this strange avenue.
Well, all I can do to pull us out of it is go, Bill and Ben were sitting in the pub. Bill says to Ben, and Ben says, away home, you're pissed.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right. See, we've hit rock bottom. We'll have to go back to the music.
We have, yeah. So we've got a bit of time for Fear then. We want to put that on now.
Oh, sorry, I had the cough there. Right, do you want me to put that on now?
It's up to you. I don't know how much, how long you want to go on. I'm okay for a little while.
Say we'll chat for like 10, 15 minutes and then leave with Fear.
Okay, yeah, sounds good to me.
That is, provided we've got stuff to talk about left.
Well, I could bore everyone to death with some of the. No, I won't bore everyone to death with some of the technical aspects of producing music. It's one of those things that's sort of thing under the hood. It's interesting to other people that do sort of production and stuff, but to people that consume music, it's just you don't want to know. If you're driving your car, you don't care about spark plugs and injectors and air filters, do you? You just want to put your foot down and go, don't you?
I tell you what, whenever you sent me a picture of your studio or the video of your studio and harmony, melody, and rhyme getting its final mix, and the track after track after track after track after track all going into the one thing, I was like, holy fuck, that's complicated.
Yeah, it's I mean, that track, it was a lot. There was quite a lot of tracks on that. I'll say it's probably around the high 40s.
Yeah.
But I have done tracks. There was one kind of Celts track that I produced. I don't think of the name of it, but it was up to about 80 tracks. And I think there are about 34 guitar tracks. So you could ask. No, don't ask me about the mud floods, MG. Thank you very much. For one thing, I don't know anything about them. She's troublemaker, isn't she? I know what she's doing. She's trying to get stuff Just trying to get it to go off.
Yeah,
No, we need
she-
power in for that.
she's a minx. She
She is. Can't wait to meet her.
she sneaks about there as if butter wouldn't melt, and and then she just throws hand grenades in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she knows how to fire out the conversation. The same.
Yeah, she is.
Right, is he? Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah. I was a good girl. I was a good girl. I know. Yeah, so that's right. So it's probably in the mid high 40 tracks on that. But fortunately, not everything's playing all at the same time, because if you've got 40 tracks of something playing at the same time, but if you've got certain keyboard parts that are coming in different places, and there'll be a different sound, different guitar sounds. So what you want to do is have them set, because they'll be recorded on a separate track anyway. So you want to keep them as a separate track. But what you do, so all the keyboard parts, I'll group them onto a master bus. So once I've got all the keyboard sounds and keyboard parts at the individual levels that I want them, I'll put them in their own group, so they have their own sort of master track, if you like, call it a bus, and where you can keep them in one place. And it doesn't mean, you can adjust the overall levels of that, or any effects that you might put on the keyboards, for instance, again. But you can still go in and adjust any one particular track individually. So yeah, it can look really, really complicated. So the trick is to try and simplify it for yourself, and you'll quite often see all the different colours that all the tracks are, and there's a reason for that, because it just helps with the visuals. If you don't colorize every single track, everything just really looks like you're looking at a screen with a load of lines and squiggles. So on a visual aspect, that's why it's not just to look pretty. Yeah, Special K, I'm using Reaper. It's the DAW that I use. I've used a few others. I've used Ableton in the past, Mixpad. I've had experience with Pro Tools and Logic Pro as well. I think that, but dirty old man. I think that Reaper for me was the one that I connected with first, and I found it just the easier to use, and with the way my brain works, For other people, it may not, but yeah, and Reaper's as good as any other. Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, it's popular. It's brilliant.
Oh, Rory doesn't know what he got himself into there.
I think he does.
He does now. Yeah. So we've got two things going on here. We've got you and Special Care talking about some technical equipment, and Rory would never have thought this of Rory. Never would have in a million miles. He thinks,
you know what? I think he's Rory. You've disappointed me, stupid.
Yeah,
only kidding, brother. Only kidding.
Yeah, and MG agrees with him. Oh, yeah. So there you go. We've got that.
Yeah, yeah. So sorry. The DAW stands for Digital Audio Workstation, and it's basically a digital computer that a digital recording studio that you have on your computer. And just so we would really got to understand what the revolution that this software brings in. And I think I said it before on one of the first chats that I had about what I was doing, that it's effectively you can do on a home studio setup what 25 years ago you'd have had to sell like a £2 million recording studio.
Yeah,
you now have that. I'm downstairs at the moment in the dining room, which I call Studio B, and I have Reaper loaded onto this. I started Eat the Bugs. I started the backing track for it down here, like just on this laptop, not up in the studio. And later on, then transferred it to up there. Because the possibilities that you have now with a DAW is incredible. And I've said it many times, it is the best computer game ever invented. It really, really is.
Yeah, it's the sound that comes out of this. One thing I have learned from you is whenever I'm going to listen to music, put on the best speaker available. Which I didn't always get prior to going through this. It was probably listening to harmony, melody, and rhyme very, very many times on different speakers. And then whenever the final one came through, you were like, get that on your good speaker. And the difference between that and whenever it's coming out through your phone or the inbuilt speakers in your laptop or whatever, it's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, but what's important to do is that's FL Studio. Yeah, it's not too bad. The best thing to do, because I've got quite nice studio monitors up in the studio, and also I have some hi-fi speakers in there, and also I have some cheap hi-fi speakers in there deliberately that I use those all for reference. And I'll also, if I'm getting close to the towards the final mix, before mastering, I'll go out and listen in the car. And people don't realise, even people that have got really expensive studios and like top producers produce Aerosmith and all stuff like that, everyone takes their mix out, you download it to your phone, and you go out and do the car test. Everybody does it. And there's something about listening to music in a car, because it's such a confined area, that if there's any low end or bass build up, even in a studio that's really well acoustically treated and bass traps and all that stuff, you don't never quite get what it's like if you really pump it up in a car. It's hard to judge whether you've overcooked it on the low end. So that's another good reason to put it out in the car. But you also, as well, you'll listen to it on your phone speakers. You listen to it on your crappy laptop speakers, because you want to try and get across the board. It sounds good on everything. It's no good just having it sound good just on my expensive studio monitors, and doesn't sound any good anywhere else. So you have to sort of compromise a little bit. One of the things I had to overcome was the level of detail that you hear on studio monitors is incredible. So you can hear everything. So I might put something, a little guitar line or keyboard line or a little bit of backing vocal. I'll put it down lower in the mix because I can hear it perfectly, and I'm sort of trying to position it and pan it well. Yeah, exactly. The mixer travels well. It has to travel well. And this is exactly the point. Thank you, Linda. And you hear it really clearly, but then you listen to it on something that's not as good. You think, oh, that little lick that was just right, just at that level, sounded great, but now that's lost if I play it in some shit car speakers. So you have to take that, you have to take that into account and make sure, like just sits there, like Special K and Esther said, it's got to translate onto a lot of different systems, and but then it is a compromise after that, That's what
Yeah, you just have to. Have you been caught with comments again?
Yeah, that's trouble. I've got two screens of comments there. I get
Oh fuck yeah! Right.
If anyone else has got any technical questions about music production, then in the next couple of minutes, please go for it. Go for it.
Go for it.
A lot of you guys up there.
Right, and we're going to play the other one. Nothing more contagious than fear. Yep. Right. I'll fire that up now. I think this will probably go straight in, but we'll see.
There's nothing more contagious than fear. Y'all ready for the reset? The reset in your brain. There's a man in a surgical mask standing a little ways behind of me. At the checkout counter as I'm loading out my groceries. Though I can't see his face, I can tell by his eyes that he's not too happy with me. He propositions me through a muffled voice for the proof of my vaccination status and my mask wearing choice. Because it's clear to him that I'm contributing to the global pandemic crisis. Yeah, and if it wasn't for me and my selfish attitude, we could all get back to normal. It's all my fault, I'm to blame, because I'm the unvaccinated, and I should be ashamed. Nothing more contagious. There's nothing more contagious. Nothing more contagious than fear. Nothing more contagious. There's nothing more contagious. Nothing more contagious than fear. More contagious. Nothing more contagious than fear. More contagious. More contagious. Nothing more contagious than fear. It's the government advisors that call themselves the wise ones, who are not elected by the British public for their scientific guidance. And just because you wear a white coat and you got letters after your name doesn't mean that you tell the truth and your only goal is a financial gain. Money, 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 money. Science follows the money. And the ones that you trusted have all now been busted. They were bubbling while you were in tears. Nothing more contagious. Nothing more contagious than fear. Nothing more contagious. Nothing more contagious. Nothing more contagious than fear. More contagious. More contagious. Nothing more contagious than fear. There's nothing more contagious than fear. Nothing more contagious than fear. Nothing more contagious. There's nothing more contagious. Nothing more contagious than fear. More contagious. Nothing more contagious than fear. Nothing more contagious. More contagious than fear. Nothing more contagious than fear. More contagious. Nothing more contagious than fear. Myocarditis, with the Jabberwocky, gain of function cancer. It's not a vaccine, it's a gene therapy. I'm vaccinated, I'm liberated, I'm free. Keep your distance. I'm vaccinated, I'm liberated, I'm free. Keep your distance. Stay indoors. Natural immunity.
That is fucking class.
It's funny. Isn't it? I mean, a few things on that. I've seen the comments there. It's really interesting. It's saying that people, oh, this reminds me of Dylan, reminds me of Scar. I know it doesn't sound like it now, but if anybody remembers Jonathan Richman's Roadrunner, that song Roadrunner. So when I first he sent this, JK sent this track over, it's basically his acoustic guitar and him singing, and the sort of acoustic guitar part, I just thought, oh man, this sounds like Roadrunner, and it just took me right back to 1977 or 76 or whenever it was. And I just associated it with that. So it's really cool to hear other people hear it and think that it reminds them of other stuff. But again, I mean, and there's a silly little triad part in the chorus. And when I heard that, I thought, oh, that just needs a little like a Hank Marvin style sort of guitar sound on it. And yeah, cheers, Charles Parkers. And so I picked up the guitar and did that, and I thought, oh, I'll just knock that out straight away. But one of the things, when I play guitar, I need to practice on it for about 20 minutes to acclimatise back to, from playing bass. And I kept trying to just play this really simple line that I had in my head, and I kept dropping the pick, and I couldn't play it right, but I got it in the end. But it was quite funny. So when he's doing like the double jabbers and he has like the silly voices in it, and in the past I would have just, I'm not going to leave that in. It's just stupid. And I thought, no, it needs to be there. It's just taking the piss out of the whole thing. And yeah, thanks for the nice words.
It's got a really upbeat tune and rhythm to it, and it's like everything's lovely. It's almost like a fucking Caribbean holiday, but you've got this narrative of the reality of what's going on putting through it, and it's fucking.
I love that. It's the controversial aspect of the music not fitting the lyrics, which I love. It contradicts it perfectly.
But what the messaging that was being put out during all that, isn't this great that we can put on masks to go into shops, and isn't it great that all the shops are giving us free hand sanitizer? It's going to dry everybody's skin up and give them fucking dermatitis. You could see that the situation was shit, but they were trying to make light of it and say that and you can meet 3 people outside this week, but next week you can meet 2 people inside, and then that'll be wrong. And oh fuck it, it does. It sums that. It sums that whole situation up.
Yeah, exactly. And I implore everyone to download or have a listen. Go on Spotify and have a listen to COVID Kids as well, because that's exactly what that's about. And the rule of six people in a in a room and everything. It's just ridiculous. Oh, Charlie Sparkles. No, you wouldn't be told if that's your favourite. No, because but get on Spotify. Search Justice Kane. Mercury is Rising is the album, and listen through to the tracks, and hopefully on a few others you'll be going, no, I think this is my favourite now. I think this is my favourite now, because
the link to the Spotify is in the description of this video.
Top man, brilliant.
Right, so you go and click on that. It'll take you straight to it. If you don't have an account, it'll take you approximately 3 minutes to sign up for a free one. I'll let you listen to the whole album.
Right, so just to confirm, right, because you don't have premium, do you? But you can access the whole album, can't you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay.
It's letting me listen to the whole album.
Full length tracks.
Yeah. There was a couple of times where it stopped. I had to click back on, but I'm not sure if that was Spotify or my laptop.
I
if
tell you
you know
what,
what
I
I
think
mean.
Spotify, I think that they put little ads in if you don't have premium or stuff like that. It's
Yeah,
been a while now, but no, at least everyone can listen to it, and that's the main thing. You know, we're not going to make any money out of this. You'd have to have millions of streams and millions of downloads. It's not about that. Which, yeah, Mercury's Rising. Yeah, it is a great name for it because, let's say, it's not about the temperature of the globe. It's just well, I think we'll all realise what it's about. You know, as things heat up.
right. Here's a question for you. Do you know of any platform that it's out on where you can just go in and pay to download it without it being connected to a?
Do you know what? I thought that you could on Apple Music because the
Well,
last time I had something to do with iTunes, you could
yeah,
just download a track, download an
yeah,
album. It was
yes,
99p or something, 69p or whatever.
yeah. Generally, a single track was between 69p and £1.50, £1.49, and an album was the sum of the amount of tracks, and that's what how I would always have got my music and films before because of
Yeah.
the last film I bought was a Red Pill movie, which has got to be like 2014. So it shows you how often I buy
Yeah.
media. But
I don't get a chance to listen to music anymore. I just don't.
yeah,
I'm
you
always working on it, and you know, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But you could get out of touch. I mean, I got out of touch with the whole sort of late 90s, early noughties rave thing because I was just gigging and touring all the time.
yeah,
The whole culture almost bypassed me because I had, you know, I just wasn't connected
you were
with it.
working.
I was working, yeah.
Yeah,
Bandcamp, I'm not sure about Bandcamp, Special K. It's on them all. Deezer.
this
I
is
saw a big list. I didn't even, you know, I don't even bother taking any notice of it anymore because there's your two or three main ones, and you've got your Spotify, Apple Music, which it is
I
now, and it's the iTunes.
I think this is where you need to. I I sent you Robin's email address by the way.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, get in touch with Courage as a Cure. Find out how this cafe thing that they've got running for promoting dissident music works. And if
I'm
it's
glad you brought
possible,
this up. Yeah, and this
yeah,
is I want to find out more.
yeah,
This is the genre of what it is. It's not a genre of music. It's a genre of content and the
yeah,
message. That's what it's about, and that's what we sort of. It's taking time to realise that, and I think that time is now, and it's growing, and you have to build culture, and you know, and the messages through culture and the messages through
yeah.
music.
And
It,
this subscription model, that what that means is you're renting it. You don't own it, and that's a very serious issue. You know, where you should be able to. Yep, cafe. That's the very thing. Run the Hunter. You should be able to buy your music, download it, own it, and not be. We're letting you listen to it this week because it's part of your subscription. And then if they, at some stage in the future, decide that they're going to pull certain music off the subscription thing, well, you just don't get to enjoy that music anymore.
yeah.
You know.
Sorry, just reading the chat. Yeah, it's that's right, and I think Spotify started that because, and that's why I was dead against it for years. Because back in the day, you could just buy your MP3, or wasn't MP3 on Apple, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what the format was, and you could download it in iTunes. But once you downloaded it, you then owned that file,
Yep.
which you could put over onto an MP3 player, you know, remember those, or put anywhere. You could download it, you could use it. But in Spotify, you can download to your device within the app, and you can listen to music that you download
Yeah.
within the app. Right, so if you're offline, you know why, so you're not streaming, but you try looking for that file. And obviously there'll be people out there that are more sort of tech heads and using one of those sort of root analyzers to get into your phone. But you try and find that file in Spotify. You think you've downloaded it. You've only downloaded it for the Spotify app to use
Yeah.
it. You haven't got it. You haven't got that file on your phone as an MP3 or WAV file. So yeah, they started that shit, and everyone's kind of gone along with it. So it's interesting with a subscription model with Apple Music now, and that's disappointing because you could just buy it like it's a store.
Yeah.
Before.
That's exactly what I was expecting. Now, to be fair, it was quite late in the evening. I may have partaken on a small cider or two. And I'm not the most technically savvy person in the world, so there could be something that I missed. But it looked to me like, yeah, no, we've gone total subscription.
No, you're probably right, mate. And I haven't dealt with iTunes. The last time I had iTunes, it was a couple of laptops ago, so you can imagine how long ago that was.
Yeah.
So, like I say, I really didn't want to go down the Spotify route, but I needed a way of when I'm learning new stuff for a band or whatever, I'm learning a set, and I needed to be able to put a playlist together. So if I'm out and about, I just got my earbuds on, or I'm in the car, I can listen to the playlist, so I can subconsciously learn the songs for the gig.
Yeah.
Of course, if I'm at home, I can sit down and play them all on YouTube and do that. But I thought, you know what, I succumb to it, and I pay for the bloody Spotify Premium. But it did irk me a lot, because I've hated the whole idea of Spotify for a long time. But you have to say they fucking do it well. They do it well. They got it sewn up. But yeah, there you go.
Oh, Rory Herbert's stirring stuff up here. Says we probably arrange a concert by friendly musicians this summer on land that the Woodlander Initiative has just bought meals.
Well, Rory, you're not the first person to think of that, and I already suggested it to Simon just before the land was bought. And funnily enough, I know one of the pieces, one of the bits of land is near Blue Earth Wells, and I was there just before the lockdown. Actually, we were doing a headline gig there at the beer, and I think it's called the Noble Bike and Beer Rally or something like that. And that part of the world, we were driving through there. We camped there overnight. We got absolutely fucking hammered at the gig. We were doing all shots just sort of like backstage before we went on. It was one of those. It was a crazy, crazy gig. And it was fucking brilliant. The people there were brilliant. But it was the land around there. It's absolutely gorgeous. It really is fantastic. And I would love to go back there and do a gig in that area anytime. And especially, and where you're right, but so right with that. And I'm sort of joking about about that gig, but we need to do in real life, concerts, festivals, people with a similar mind. We need to do that. So starting it off online is one thing. Trying to get the music out there to people with a similar mindset. But we need to be getting together. We need to be having festivals and parties, and just holding gigs, just like the left have been doing for the last 60 years. With their folk clubs and all that, and with a sort of communist ideals, and that's how they've been, spreading their sort of ideas and gone on to the mainstream. Starting in the 60s with the Flower Power thing.
Yeah.
And we need to do that. We need to do that soon.
Yeah. Well, that would be the next step of bringing this type of music to the public. If and who knows, one day it'll be like fucking. I was going to say Glastonbury, but we don't want that. Where was that place Robbie Williams played that summer? Nedworth.
Nedworth, yeah.
It'd be more like that. We'll have decent music, decent message, and brilliant people.
Yeah, no, exactly. I just want to Linda Hunter. Yeah, I am aware of the White Art Collective. Jodie Kay put me onto them, and let me see if I can still see the message. I did not delete it. The guy who was running it, I've actually sent him some. He was actually sent Harmony, Melody, and Rhyme, but yeah, his name's Jeff. Unfortunately, Jeff, who was running the White Art Collective, died recently. I know his missus is forgot her name for a minute. Dawn, if you can remember her name. Hireth, isn't it Hireth? I think that was anyway. Yeah, she just had a baby, and Jeff sadly has passed away. But that's it. Yeah, Hireth. I was in contact with him and shared some messages with him just a few months before he died there. So we were collaborating. We were talking, but sadly, that's looks like another avenue that's gone down. But I don't know if that's still going on or not. But it's such a shame, yeah. But thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah, that is sad. Little child now. Yeah. Right. It didn't really want to end on such a sad note.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't. I blame Dawn Browning for that. I was never going to.
Well, what I'm thinking is, we have played Harmony, Melody, and Rhyme. We have played Eat the Bugs. So I think I'm going to fire up the Ballad of Ballord and put everybody's messages up on the screen, and then we'll shut this down.
Okay, mate. Yeah, that'll really bring it down there, won't it? I thought it might end on something happy. No, only joking.
Yeah.
William. Yes, it is my dog. It's Belgian Malinois. Mate, I saw your comment earlier on. I know you love the Patsy, the JFK song, and I hope we give this album a few listens as well, mate. So yeah, nice to have you on there. Nice one, William.
All right, here we go.
The ballad from Miss Ballad.
Gets darker. The deeper you go down.
The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And the finder of lost children.
You will need a light to guide you, and an angel to walk beside you.
I dare you to go down.
You want to know the truth, don't you?
I find the evil and the greedy under every turn of rock. When I spit out the truth, the establishment mock. From all sides, I watch the opposition grow, trying to terminate the information flow. But the good book reminds me that I am blessed, protected and guided during every quest. In the valley of darkness, my way is clear. I carry a big stick and I show no fear. So prepare yourself for eternal damnation. In your nest of vipers I found my vocation. Are we so deaf that we cannot hear the screams of the children? Are we so blind that we cannot see? We are living in the depths of depravity. Are we so inept we let monsters roam, fueled on power and adrenochrome? Are we so weak we cannot fight back, beholden to our masters? The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. But blessed is he who in the name of charity or goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. The finder of lost children. The righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. But blessed is he who in the name of charity or goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. The finder of lost children.
The rabbit hole. I dare you to go down.
I'll try that again with my mic unmuted. Okay, everybody. All's been all. Justice was justice, although be it recorded. I've been 42. And you lot in the chat have, as always, been fucking amazing. And I've done this all in the wrong fucking order because I should have said, Al Mac. absolute pleasure to have you on.
Mate, look, it's been fantastic. Thanks for having me on every time here. I know that you have, a foot in it now, but thanks for helping promote this. And please, everybody, go and have a listen to the album. Have a listen to the first album. The first album's there as well on Spotify and all the other platforms. Dystopia, Myopia. There's some great tracks on that as well. But it's evolved. It's evolved with the content. It's evolved with 42 coming on it. We've got something unique going on with it here. We're talking about stuff that we all, on the whole, agree with. So let's just spread it with people, share it with people. It's been fantastic. Thanks for all your lovely comments in the chat as well.
Yeah, honestly, go give that album a listen because there's not a bad song on it. You will enjoy it. And I would have been sort of for pushing towards this type of music anyway, even had I not been involved. I'm absolutely delighted that I am. I've really enjoyed working with you and Justice Al.
Mate, you were promoting stuff that we were doing before you were so absolutely. I can only thank you. To the bottom of my heart for everything that you've done, and then to get involved with it. Well, that's just that was a crazy turn that nobody saw coming.
Yeah, it's like I hate listening back to myself on the internet. I really do. It's like the pre-record with Justice. I've got to fucking listen to myself and all that, and I'm thinking, oh fuck, right. I know everybody is a bit critical of themselves, but whenever these tracks have come out, they actually sound good. So you've made a small miracle happen there, and I've really enjoyed being part of it.
That's it. Well, I sprinkle magic dust on things.
Yeah, you do. You definitely do. There's a lot of dust goes on that accent and delivery. Trust me, people. Right, but also, obviously, you're welcome back anytime, and we will be back on again at some stage. And you, myself, Emma G, and Ali C are all going to be meeting up in person in a way. I'm really looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be brilliant.
Yeah. But let's not get people too close to the actual date. To want people swamping us. Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, right, going to close it up now. So Al's been Al, I've been 42. You lot in the chat have as always been fucking amazing. Good night, God bless, and we'll see you all next week. I'm out of here. Goodbye.